Hey everyone, I'm back with an Epstein update. Today I'll cover Brett Ratner, David Boies, Dan Bongino, David Bowdich, and Ehud Barak. I'll also give updates on those I covered in my previous episodes. First up today is Brett Ratner, the film director known for the Rush Hour series and other movies. Ratner has been linked to Jeffrey Epstein primarily through photographs and emails that surfaced in U.S. Department of Justice releases of Epstein-related files, but these materials do not accuse Ratner of any wrongdoing or involvement in Epstein's sex trafficking or other crimes. His name and images appear among thousands of pages and photos involving many prominent figures, with no indication from the files that Ratner participated in illegal activities. An undated photo shows Ratner seated on a sofa next to Epstein, with his arms around one of two women, their faces redacted in the released version, while another woman sits beside Epstein. Separate photos show Ratner posing with Epstein and the late French modeling agent Jean-Luc Brunel, and some photos include additional women. The location and exact dates of the photos are not specified in the files, though they appear to be from the same general setting or period. Ratner has publicly stated that he had no personal relationship with Epstein and met him only once, roughly 20 years ago, around 2005 or 2006. He claims the photo was taken at an event to which his then fiancée, his girlfriend of 5 years to whom he was engaged at the time, invited him. He identifies the woman he is embracing in the sofa photo as that ex-fiancée and says there was no contact with Epstein before or after the event. He has called the speculation surrounding the photo crazy and horrible, emphasizing that he didn't know Epstein. He reiterated these points in interviews, including with Fox News and on Piers Morgan Uncensored, around the time the photos gained attention, coinciding with the release of his documentary Melania about First Lady Melania Trump. The released files also include emails showing some social overlap and attempts by Epstein or his associates to connect with Ratner. In December 2010, Epstein mentioned inviting Ratner to a dinner at his Manhattan townhouse, and around 2011, one of Epstein's assistants emailed Ratner asking him to call regarding an unspecified matter. In 2012, at the Cannes Film Festival, Epstein's publicist Peggy Siegel emailed Epstein that she was with Ratner and relayed that Brett says hi and he loves you. There are additional references to shared social circles, parties, and one 2018 email in which Epstein used Ratner's name when trying to arrange a meeting with someone else. It is not clear from the public files whether Ratner responded to these overtures or had any direct ongoing interaction. No flight logs, island visits, or black book entries tying Ratner to Epstein's more notorious activities have been reported in connection with these releases or prior public Epstein documents. Ratner has faced separate sexual misconduct allegations from several women dating back to 2017, which he has denied, but those are unrelated to Epstein. The timing of the file releases drew extra attention because they coincided with Ratner's high-profile comeback project, the Melania documentary. In short, the publicly available information shows Ratner appearing in social photos with Epstein and being mentioned in peripheral emails, but Ratner maintains it was a one-time encounter arranged by his then-fiancée with no further relationship. No credible sources accuse him of complicity in Epstein's criminal conduct, and the DOJ files themselves note that material can include unverified or contextual information involving many non-culpable individuals. Next up is David Boies, the prominent New York trial lawyer and founder of Boies Schiller Flexner. Unlike many peripheral names on the broad list of hundreds of politically exposed persons or public figures, Boies' mentions stem primarily from his well-documented role as a lawyer representing multiple Epstein victims and accusers, rather than any social, financial, or personal ties to Epstein himself. No photos with Epstein, no flight logs, no island visits, and no reports of emails or direct interactions suggesting a personal relationship have surfaced in the recent releases or prior Epstein documents. Boies appears in contexts related to civil litigation against Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and associated entities, for example, banks like J.P. Morgan Chase and Deutsche Bank that facilitated Epstein's finances. He and his firm have pursued claims on behalf of victims, including Virginia Giuffre, Annie Farmer, Maria Farmer, and others. Boies has been involved in lawsuits accusing Epstein of rape, battery, and false imprisonment, and has pushed for accountability against enablers and collaborators. Boies has publicly stated there are between 10 and 20 men with enough information to warrant prosecutorial investigation. Earlier scrutiny included questions about his firm's tactics in victim cases and a brief indirect overlap via an associate. David Boies' firm faced criticism in 2019 over work involving Epstein accusers and a separate hacking-related matter with an ex-partner, but Boies denied any deceitful involvement. Boies has represented Epstein victims since around 2015 pro bono in key cases, helping secure settlements and pursuing civil actions. He represented Virginia Giuffre in her defamation suit against Maxwell and broader efforts against Epstein's network, and his firm co-led class action style suits against banks for allegedly enabling Epstein's trafficking through financial services, resulting in significant settlements, including $290 million from JP Morgan. Boies has criticized the government for not pursuing more collaborators and has supported greater transparency in the files while noting concerns for victims. He has clashed publicly with figures like Alan Dershowitz, who was accused by Giuffre, a claim later walked back in a settlement, in litigation tied to the Epstein case. On to Dan Bongino, former FBI Deputy Director under Kash Patel, conservative commentator, and former Secret Service agent. As with many on this list, there are no reports of photos showing Bongino with Epstein, no mentions in flight logs, no island visits to Little St. James, no black book entries, and no evidence of personal, social, financial, or criminal ties to Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell. Bongino's mentions in the Epstein materials are overwhelmingly tied to his official role at the FBI and his prior public commentary as a podcaster and media figure, rather than any personal association with Epstein. As FBI Deputy Director, appointed in early 2025, Bongino was involved in the department's review, redaction, and handling of Epstein-related records. Internal FBI emails released via FOIA and in the broader dumps show him being forwarded information shortly after starting the job about redaction guidance, victim protections, and processing voluminous materials, including child sex abuse material and unverified tips. He publicly defended the FBI and DOJ process, emphasizing the need to protect victims while pushing for transparency where possible. He addressed criticism on X, clarifying that certain emails were forwarded to him for review after he entered duty on March 17, 2025, and stated he was glad the materials were public. Prior to joining the administration, Bongino had repeatedly called for the full release of the Epstein files on his show, questioned aspects of the case, including initially expressing skepticism about Epstein's death, and urged keeping attention on it. Once in office, he and Patel publicly aligned with the official finding that Epstein died by suicide based on FBI evidence, including video. Bongino became a focal point of political drama surrounding the file's handling. He clashed with Attorney General Pam Bondi over the pace, transparency, and content of releases, including a reported heated White House meeting where he expressed frustration. This led to speculation about his resignation, as he was later made co-deputy director and announced his departure in December 2025. Critics accused the administration of slow-walking or over-redacting. Bongino pushed back, arguing the process was careful due to victim protections and the volume of material. Upon returning to podcasting in early 2026, he defended the review, noting it revealed a ton of problems with unverified hearsay, but no major new bombshells, as some expected. Moving on to David Bowdich, a former senior FBI official who served as deputy director of the FBI from 2018 to 2021 and later became chief security officer at the Walt Disney Company. Bowdich's references are tied exclusively to his official FBI leadership role during and after Epstein's 2019 arrest and death, not to any personal, social, or financial relationship with Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell. There are no reported photos of Bowdich with Epstein, no mentions in flight logs, island visits, black book entries, or parties, and no emails or communications suggesting personal contact. Specific documented references include internal FBI communications where, as deputy director, Bowdich inquired about investigative steps, such as pressing New York agents on plans to search Epstein's Zorro Ranch in New Mexico, shortly after Epstein's arrest, an email asking for reasons why the search had not yet occurred. Other references include updates provided to senior Justice Department officials, including then Deputy Attorney General, regarding the Epstein investigation and Epstein's death in custody at the direction of Attorney General William Barr, and broader oversight of the FBI's handling of the case as part of headquarters leadership. These appear in the context of routine law enforcement coordination and post-arrest investigative follow-up. Bowdich had a 25-plus year career at the FBI, rising through counterterrorism and leadership roles, including work on cases like San Bernardino. He served as deputy director under Director Christopher Wray until 2021, then joined Disney in a security capacity. His involvement with the Epstein matter was limited to high-level oversight of the federal investigation following Epstein's July 2019 arrest. Last for today is Ehud Barak, former Prime Minister of Israel and Defense Minister. Barak has one of the more documented and extensive associations with Jeffrey Epstein among the high-profile figures named in the DOJ's Epstein Files released under the Epstein Files Transparency Act. Unlike many peripheral names on the broad DOJ list, Barak's mentions involve repeated personal, social, logistical, and business interactions spanning roughly from 2003 to 2019, well after Epstein's 2008 conviction for soliciting prostitution from a minor. Numerous emails show ongoing contact, including plans for Barak and his wife to stay at Epstein's New York City apartment multiple times with staff handling logistics. Other messages discuss meetings, phone calls, travel itineraries, and business proposals. Barak sought Epstein's advice on various matters, including op-eds, investments, and introductions to figures like Larry Summers. Barak and his wife stayed at Epstein-owned properties in New York on several occasions, and there is also a short visit, about 3 hours, by Barak, his wife, and security to Epstein's Little St. James Island, during which they reportedly saw only Epstein and maintenance staff. Reports and indexed files indicate Barak flew on Epstein's private plane at least once, a 2014 flight in Florida, with some claims of additional instances or flights with others, though no widespread Lolita Express island hopping pattern like some associates. Epstein helped fund or advise on ventures involving Barak, such as investments on an Israeli tech startup, and they discussed other deals, including surveillance tech marketing and potential oil-related opportunities. Audio recordings released in the files capture conversations on topics like Russian immigration to Israel. At least one photo from Epstein's estate shows Barak at a table on a phone, and a 2016 birthday compilation for Epstein included a letter from Barak and his wife praising him. Barak first met Epstein around 2003 and continued the relationship for years post-2008 conviction. Communications extended into 2017 and beyond in some cases. Barak has publicly acknowledged the relationship, but has consistently denied witnessing or participating in any sexual misconduct, parties involving underage girls, or illegal activity. In interviews following the 2025 to 2026 releases, including on Israel's Channel 12 in February 2026, he expressed regret, stating he regrets ever having met him, and apologized to those who feel uncomfortable. He claimed he only fully understood the breadth and depth of Epstein's crimes in 2019 and cut ties then. He emphasized exercising poor judgment, but maintained he saw no inappropriate event or improper behavior over the 15-plus years. No credible reporting or court filings from the DOJ releases accuse Barak of direct involvement in Epstein's sex trafficking, abuse of minors, or related crimes. He has not been charged or named as a co-conspirator in the victim lawsuits tied to these specifics. The closeness fueled unsubstantiated conspiracy theories, which Israeli officials, including Netanyahu and former intelligence figures, have strongly rejected. The files themselves do not support intelligence ties. Instead, they portray a personal and business friendship that blurred lines. An FBI informant document expressed suspicion of Israeli spy links due to the Barak connection, but this remains unverified speculation in the files. One former Epstein employee, Juan Alessi Rodriguez, alleged in released materials that Barak flew with girls, but such claims are not corroborated by flight logs or other evidence in public reporting and have not led to accusations against Barak. Ehud Barak's involvement stands out for its duration and depth, and the relationship has drawn significant criticism in Israel and internationally for poor judgment, especially post-2008. Now it's time to do an update on new information that has come out since my previous episodes, but first, let me tell you about my sponsors quick. Sometimes I get on a roll cleaning or gardening, and I need a boost but don't have time for a meal. Big Fork Brand's pork jerky is the perfect choice to keep my momentum, offering high-protein snacks for on-the-go energy boosts. Not only do they offer pork jerky, but they also make pork sticks, bacon sausage, bacon hot dogs, and burger and hot dog sauces. Products come in a variety of delicious flavors, including Thai green curry and maple and brown sugar for the meat options, and gangster and Chicago fire for the sauces. I personally think the original flavor of the pork jerky hits just right after tackling a big chore. It's a little salty and very flavorful. My discount code gives you 20% off your entire order, and it's currently the best deal available. Just visit bigforkbrands.com and enter in my promo code JADE, that's JADE, at checkout. Are you looking for a gift for a music lover, or maybe some apparel to show off your quirky side? Old Glory has you covered. With over 300,000 officially licensed items covering music, sports, entertainment, and pop culture, you're guaranteed to find the perfect item. They even have seasonal gear. My husband enjoys the Beatles and Led Zeppelin apparel, and I love the Billy Idol apparel. I even found items for my fellow plant enthusiasts. This family-owned superstore is known for their quality and customer service, offers free standard shipping on all orders, and orders are shipped the same day you purchase. My discount code gives you 15% off your entire order, and it's currently the best deal available. Just visit oldglory.com and enter in my promo code JADE, that's JADE, at checkout. Looking for a game-changing way to improve your health? Zevo Life is the world's most nutrient-dense whole plant, packed with over 50% plant protein, essential amino acids, fiber, and antioxidants. Harnessing the best nature has to offer, Zevo Life nourishes your body while driving your performance, vitality, and overall well-being. Each serving is a concentrated source of clean, well-balanced nutrition designed to support modern lifestyles, and just 1 teaspoon a day supports your gut, boosts energy, and promotes healthier skin and hair. It's no wonder that it's receiving rave 5-star reviews. Step into a healthier future with a 30% discount and a 30-day risk-free guarantee by visiting zivo.life and using my promo code. To support my show and to receive 30% off your entire order, enter in my promo code JADE, that's JADE, at checkout. All right, let's get back into it. A congressional letter was sent to Sarah Ferguson requesting cooperation with a response deadline in early April, but there's been no public confirmation of compliance. She and her ex-husband, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, still face significant fallout in the UK. Bill Gates is expected to participate in a closed-door transcribed interview on June 10th with the House Oversight Committee as part of its broader Epstein probe. Gates' spokesperson said he welcomes the opportunity and looks forward to answering questions. No new documents or testimony from him have been released yet. Howard Lutnick is scheduled for a transcribed interview with the House Oversight Committee on May 6th regarding his post-2008 contacts and a 2012 island lunch already detailed in January files. He has volunteered and stated he looks forward to setting the record straight. Peter Mandelson is facing significant new scrutiny. The UK government confirmed on April 16th that vetting officials recommended against granting him top-level security clearance for his U.S. ambassador role due to reputational risks, including Epstein ties, but the Foreign Office overruled it. This has intensified pressure on Prime Minister Keir Starmer, with opposition calls for his resignation, accusations of misleading Parliament, and renewed focus on Mandelson's ongoing police investigation for alleged misconduct in public office, like leaking confidential information to Epstein. He was arrested and bailed in February, though no charges have been filed yet. Thorbjørn Jagland's Norwegian aggravated corruption investigation, stemming from post-2008 benefits, travel, and contacts with Epstein, remains active. There have been no major updates since the February 2026 charges and property searches, though a parliamentary inquiry into broader Norwegian Epstein links, including other officials, was launched on February 17th. A misleading claim circulated that Jagland was arrested, but he was only charged, not detained. Now, to wrap up this episode, I have some names to cover that are mentioned only incidentally in the files. In early 2026, during the California gubernatorial race, Xavier Becerra highlighted Republican candidate Steve Hilton's appearance in one Epstein related email where Hilton's associates sought an introduction to Woody Allen via Epstein's network. Hilton countered that Becerra, along with others, were also technically mentioned in the files, calling it a smear tactic since mere inclusion means little without context. Zoe Lofgren's name appears in the files because, as a longtime Democratic congresswoman from California, Lofgren has been one of the most vocal advocates for the full unredacted release of the Epstein files. She has co sponsored resolutions demanding transparency, reviewed unredacted materials at the DOJ, participated in heated congressional hearings grilling officials about redactions, withheld documents, and potential cover ups, and publicly criticized others for their associations with Epstein. Alec Baldwin's name appears in a notable number of documents, around 149 according to some compilations, but these largely reflect Epstein's broad networking rather than deep involvement. Emails in the files reference events such as a dinner with Alec Baldwin following a Q&A at Guild Hall and coordination around a film set where Baldwin was involved, with Epstein copied on related correspondence. Baldwin has publicly denied knowing Epstein personally. Ashley Biden's name appears in the files simply because she is named alongside her family members, and Carl Klein's name appears in one documented reference involving an email that forwards or discusses a news article about Klein's role in a White House security clearance controversy. In that article, Klein was the official who oversaw and in some cases overruled security clearances, including for Jared Kushner. The email appears to be from Chris DeLorio, referencing the whistleblower story and Klein's scheduled congressional testimony, with no indication of personal interaction between Klein and Epstein. That's all I have for now. Future episodes will cover Harvey Weinstein, Jake Lang, Catherine Rumler, Gloria Allred, Julian Assange, Jeffrey Berman, Joe Biden, Mark Bistreiser, Jared Kushner, Jay Lefkowitz, Jack Lew, Miriam Adelson, Lana Bolovic, Jill Biden, Tony Blair, John Bolton, Bono, Richard Branson, George Bush Jr., Patrick Byrne, Tucker Carlson, and Jay Clayton. Of course, just because I've listed these people does not mean I'm accusing them of wrongdoing. If I've left a name off this list that you think should be covered, please let me know in the comments wherever you follow me. Have a great day.